So guys, in this part we are going to work on the movement of our player. So let's open our player controller script. So now here I'm going to make a header first. And inside of that I'm going to write header, then two parentheses, quotation mark. Inside I want to write camera look. That is for our camera. So now at the top of that, so what's to actually this header, I'm going to show you right now. First, let's write the variable for our movement. So we can just copy that and paste it. Instead of camera look, I'm going to write movement. Okay, now under that we need two variables. First variable will be public float move speed. So now I'm going to comment it, how fast our player should move. So now the next variable will be private vector2 and current movement input. So we can make it also shorter, but because I want you to understand it better, I'm going to write it. We can just write car movement, but because I want you to understand what we are going to do, that's why I'm going to write it completely so that you understand what's happening in our script. So now if I am saving, before I forgot, I wanted to show you what's to actually that header. When I'm going to player, as you see here, we have a bold line here, camera look, and also movement. So then we all know this part is belong to movement, this variable, and this part belong to our camera look. So now we are going down to make a function for that. So the function was, I'm going to write it below our public void on loop because we need most of that. So I'm going to just copy that, then paste it. Here for now we don't need this part. Let's delete it. Then instead of onLook input, this time I'm going to write it on movement input. So movement input. Now here we need a if. We need to check if we press something. So we need to write. This is, as you see, this is all the information that we need for the input system. For example, input performed. That means if we press the button or if we didn't press the button. Okay, so now here what we are going to write, context.fuzz is equal to input action fuzz is performed. So we are going to check if we pressing that button, if we pressing the W button. Okay, if in that time is correct, is true, then we want to say our current movement input is equal to context. Then after context we want, so actually we can just copy paste this line. So we want context that read value of a vector2, and yeah, but as long as, that means as long as we press the button we are going to move to that direction. But what about when we don't press that button anymore? So here we are going to make another else if. Inside of that, I'm going to copy that line. Actually, we just need this part until this part and paste it. Instead of this time performed, we are going to cancel. That means when we cancel when we are not more pressing that button, then we want to say current movement input is equal vector2 dot 0. That means we don't want that move anymore. So now let's talk about the if function. How is it that working? But so the if function, as we see here, the if inside of this parenthesis, we always put the condition. And if this condition is true, so our script is going to read that line. But if it doesn't true, if the condition is false, then it is not going to read that line. So this script doesn't go to read that line. Then he's going to the next line. And if the next line, the if in the next line is true, then he's going to read read the statement too. So that means this green box that I make it's our statement, and this red one inside of this parenthesis is our condition. So it's after if we are put the parenthesis and then condition, and after the condition, so we are using the bracket, and after the bracket, inside of the bracket, we are going to write our statement. So hope it's clear. So now this is also the comment. So we are going to check if we're pressing the button, and if it's true, then we want to move the player depending on our context value. And then we also going to check if we stop pressing the button, for example W or S or R or D. If we stop pressing that button, so we are not going to move the player anymore. So the player will stay at that position, at his position. So now let's go up to make a function. I'm going to make a function. Where is our update? This is our update. I'm going to cut it, bring it up under the start function. So now under that also I'm going to use the fixed update for moving. Then also I'm going to make a new function. I'm going to call that function private void mover, not unanimated move, just mover. And we want to call that move function our fixed update. So now the fixed update will be called 50 times per second around 0.02 second. This is the difference between the fixed update and update. The update will be update every frame, but the fixed update will be every 0.02 second. So now let's go to the move function. Here I'm going to use the vector3. Then we are going to use the move direction is equal to transform.forward multiplied by current move input point y, so dot y, plus we want to transform dot right multiply by current move input dot x. So now under that, we need to say move direction multiply equal to our move speed. We are going to move our player depend on our move speed. So then here d instead of direction, first we need to in the top make a new variable. This time we need to write the player widget body. So I'm going to use it private. Widget body. Going to call it my player. That means my widget body, player widget body. Okay, and then in I'm going to make an awake function. Awake function will be called before start because before we are going to do anything else, we want to get that component. It is important to this is so we can do it manually if we make it public. So we can just drag our widget body to that variable, but because we make it private, we want to get the component automatically. That's why here we need to say myRubric is equal to get component. The component that we want to get is our widget body. So then automatically our script is going to attach that widget body to our variable. So now here we need to write move direction dot y is equal to our myRubric dot velocity dot y. And at the last, we need to say myRubric dot velocity is equal to our move direction. So now I'm going to save it and test it if our code work or not. So hope it work. Here we have a move speed. Okay, as a default, what I'm going to do because some people maybe later they ask me our play doesn't move, so here as a default I'm going to put it at 6. Okay, so then when I save it as a default, you will see that we get the value of 6 here. So right now it doesn't. It's interesting that it doesn't get. Why it doesn't get? Normally it should. If I put F. It's interesting that it doesn't get the value. Okay, but now let's first to set up our player. So here I'm going at the main, at event. Then I'm going to the main, like what we did for our camera look. We need to go to our movement. They're here, the first one. Then I'm going to also add our player because we have the script there inside. Player controller. Then here on movement input. So now let's go up. Here I'm going to move speed at 6. As you see, our glider is, you see we can move to the left, right, forward, backward, maybe move speed a little bit too high and put it at 4.5. So down, left, right. So everything's work fine with our movement without any problems. And when we are going, we can turn, when we are moving our mouse, you can see we are also turning around our cube. So that's nice. Still, I'm wondering why it didn't took the value. Okay, I'm just for my test, I'm going to comment it. So now it's just for test, you don't need to do that. I just want to test something why it didn't get the default value. Okay, now we don't have that. Let's get saved. I'm going to uncomment it, uncomment it, and 6. Now it get, because I did it after we save it, that's why it didn't get that 6 value. Okay, so now it gets 6 value. If we play, we have 6. Yeah, we are going to move too fast. Now I'm going to change it to 4. I think the 4 for now is enough. Okay, so everything's worked fine with our movement, guys. So see you now in the next video.